Hello, my name is Blanca Quesada, and the name of my PowerPoint is Present Time Sexuality. I will be discussing about the number of factors that deal with the topic of sexuality in today's society, because more than 30
years ago, families did not speak about sex or sexuality with their children. It wasn't an open conversation or topic.
Sexuality is not an easy topic for families to speak about with their children. Many families find themselves stuck or unsure on what to ask the child. Many families have concerns as well. They may have questions like, how do I speak to my child about puberty and sex? How and what do I say to my child about gay and lesbian people? If my child comes out, what do I say and how can I support my child? Or when is it a good time to speak to them about these kind of things? It is important for families to know what to say and not to say. These kind of conversations benefits their relationship with their child. It builds trust and communication. What is sexuality? What involves with the conversation of sexuality? Sexuality is a process of development that begins in middle childhood largely through sexual arousal and fantasy, and manifests itself in a sexual behavior during adolescence. Sexuality becomes a part of a child's life around the time where puberty begins. Following with puberty, sex becomes a conversation and so does sexual orientation. This may begin between the ages of 9 and 14. It doesn't mean it stops there. It becomes a part of their lives. The individual may go through a negative or a positive experience depending on their family dynamics. Educating families about sexuality may make it a positive experience. Let's begin when children go through puberty. Puberty is the transition from infertility to fertility. Females and males experience different biological and physiological changes, but have some in common. Females particularly go through menarche, which is also known as a period. Their breasts begin to develop and many will grow underarm hair. Males particularly develop their testicles and scrotal sac. The growth of penis occurs, they experience their first ejaculation of semen. Last but not least, their voices change, and some may become deep or squeaky. Also, both females and males experience the growth of pubic hair, their body shape changes, and the increase of oil and sweat occurs. The best time to speak to females about puberty is before they get their periods. In most cases, females will get their periods around the same time their mothers did. This can help girls become aware if the situation happens. For males, the best time is around the ages of 10 or 11. It's very important that females learn what males go through and for males to learn what females go through. There are many ways on how to speak about puberty. The child may ask their family member a question in regard to puberty. The family member can simply begin the conversation explaining what puberty is and how it works. It's important to initiate conversations. Reassurance is a big thing too. Making time to talk about this and making the conversation a positive one will make it easier for them in this stage. Decades ago, there was no such thing as families speaking to the child about sex. Children learned it from sex education at school. Then again, it didn't cover the most important questions or concerns children had. If families did speak to them about sex, it wasn't until they were around 16. Mostly, the man of the household spoke to their son about sex. Girls were just told not to do it. According to kidshealth.org, because of media like television and the internet, many children today are exposed to so much information about sex and relationships. By the time they reach puberty, they already have an idea about the concept. Around the age of 10, children begin to experience sexual attraction. This is a time where they begin to have crushes or like peers. This is due to the increase of hormones. Many young children around the age of 12 begin to experience sexual activity with others. Families can promote parental involvement and communication even if they don't see eye to eye with their child. Increase parent supervision and monitoring. Encourage social problem solving skills. Also, practicing safety precautions like contraception use and why it's important to use condoms or birth control. As well, it's okay for families to use proper terms for body parts like penis, vagina, uterus, etc. It helps the child become aware of their sex features. Children at this age don't have the knowledge to obtain all the information that involves sex, but explaining it to them in simple terms may help them throughout middle childhood development. During middle childhood development, children experience sexual arousal and self-exploration. This is known as non-coital behavior, but it does not involve sex or any physical contact. For example, boys become curious with their bodies and may begin to masturbate. Masturbation is defined as self-stimulation to the point of arousal. Males tend to masturbate 2 times more than females. They experience their first ejaculation around the age of 12. Families need to know it is perfectly normal for their child to masturbate. This is a very odd conversation to have. It is best to let the child come to the family member about it. Although it's an awkward topic, families can teach the child about privacy, and this can help them with not to touch others or not to touch themselves in front of others. Next, children often engage in sexual activity with another individual, like kissing, hugging, watching pornography, and may use humping as a stimulation. Puberty is a difficult time for children, especially teenagers. Families really need to be on their child about everything they do and say. Children today are also participating in oral sex by the time they reach middle childhood. They begin to explore sexuality, like who they like. Early behavior in oral sex also means they may experience sexual intercourse at a young age. Nationwide, 6.2% of children had intercourse for the first time at the age of 13. The last thing families want is their child to engage in sexual intercourse during their teen years. However, it happens, and the only thing a parent can do is be understanding and supportive. The reason parents fear for their teenager having sex is because of the consequences that can occur, like unwanted pregnancy, diseases, and loss of innocence or heartbreak. The last thing a parent wants is to see their child get hurt. In reality, plenty of teenagers are having sex, and again, it's normal. Sexual activity is part of human development. Sex should not be a negative topic, it should be a positive one. When talking about sex, the parent should be calm, listen to the child, keep it simple, show interest, and use everyday opportunities to keep this a cycle. A family member can ask, "Can you tell me what you already know about that?" Or anything else you want me to answer. This connection can benefit a family and their child because there's trust and support. A child will then have the courage to come to their family and speak about anything that comes to their mind. Many times a child won't have sex until they are a lot older because of the support and advice they received. It's about guiding the child into the right direction and teaching them that there's a time for everything. While speaking about sex, it's a great way to mention contraceptive use if they ever decide to have sex. A family member can teach them how a condom works or how birth control works. Without this knowledge, pregnancy becomes a consequence. A lot of factors come with pregnancy, such as abortion, adoption, keeping the baby, becoming a teenage mom, etc. This cannot be avoided by simply talking about the birds and bees. It's best to hear it from family than the media or their friends. 1 in 2 sexually active people will get a sexually transmitted disease or infection by the time they reach 25 years old. Just imagine the people who don't know they are carrying an STD or an STI. Being sexually active comes with responsibility because without protection, an individual is on a scale of getting one of these. Not only can adults get these kind of infections, so do young children. For example, I'll never forget the time I went to the doctors for a physical and my doctor asked if I was sexually active. I was 14 at the time and I said no because I wasn't. She didn't believe me for some reason until she explained herself. She said 2 13-year-olds came in and got tested. The girl tested positive for chlamydia and gonorrhea, and her boyfriend got gonorrhea. He gave it to her because she admitted to losing her virginity with him. I was shocked. When we left, my mom gave me a talk about how it happens and why it happens. Today, statistics for sexually transmitted diseases have increased. Families definitely need to speak to their child about this because it is a huge health problem and can lead to long-term consequences. HIV is a great example for long-term consequences. HIV is a virus that interferes with the body's ability to fight off viruses and bacteria. Then, this virus can become worse and turn into AIDS. Many people can die from this disease. Not only is this virus transmitted sexually, it can be passed on during pregnancy, birth, breastfeeding, or drug use. If families are going to speak to their child about sex, it's best to also speak about STDs and AIDS. Just like how schools do it, they will show them pictures of what a person looks like with it. And parents can do that as well. Let's move to a different topic because this particular topic has made a huge difference in today's society. It changes the originality of gender roles. As we all know, boys act like boys and girls act like girls. Boys are known for being strong, angry, and the man of the house, while girls are known for being emotional, motherly, and mature. Now, it's okay for boys to be sensitive and show feminine characteristics, and the same goes for girls because they can do whatever boys can do. Over the years, gender identity has become a factor to gender roles. Gender identity is a person's perception of having a particular gender which may or may not correspond with their sex. There has been many stories about girls saying they are not girls, but they are boys, and vice versa. The question here is, what does a parent say or do when the child comes to them about it? First, they should not make any assumptions towards their child's gender identity, because every child is curious and different. Instead, they should keep an open mind and be curious while being involved with the child. If the child decides that they are the opposite sex, families should normalize the situation. Not every family is going to be happy or supportive at first because it is a huge change. The families need to understand this is not a disease and this is a time where they need their family, because then all these problems begin to affect their child. Families need to understand this does not happen overnight. This is something a child knows and feels. Families should ask their child questions about their feelings and thoughts to receive a better understanding of the situation. Families should never punish their child or make them do something they don't want to do. If they are still struggling, a great way to handle the situation is to receive counseling services. In some cases, there have been parents where they gave birth to the child with both female and male genitalia. The doctor then asked, "Would you like your child to be a female or a male?" The parents decided, and years later, the sex they chose was not the child's gender identity. This has been a controversial subject because one side says parents do not have the right to pick what gender their child should be, and the other side says if they keep both genitalia, they won't grow up to be normal. A perfect example of gender identity is Josie Romero. At birth, Josie was assigned as a boy. He was born with male genitalia. By age 6, Josie began wearing dresses. He liked putting on makeup and playing with dolls. His parents thought it was a phase because they adopted a little girl, but that wasn't the case. Josie came out to his parents that he wasn't a boy, he was a girl and wanted to be a girl. So, his parents decided that it was okay because no matter what, they were going to love him. His parents took him shopping for girl clothing and let his hair grow out so he can look like a girl, since children were bullying him at school. They have a very strong open communication relationship with the child. Before they made any decisions, they asked him why he felt like a girl and what were his feelings going through a gender change. This is a great way families can deal with a gender identity situation among their children. Many children who do not receive this emotional support or feel rejected tend to fall into depression, begin having suicidal thoughts, or may live through rough trauma experiences. Sexual orientation is very different from gender identity. Someone may feel the opposite sex but does not mean they like the same sex. A male can turn into a female and still like females. Sexual orientation is an individual's sexual identity in relation to the gender to which they are attracted to. During middle childhood, boys and girls begin to experience sexual attraction. What they may like in a person's appearance, and what may catch their attention. During these years, children begin to also explore or question their sexuality. It is actually normal for a young person to do this. They may go through a time where they like the same sex and later find out they don't. In other cases, at this age, they begin to realize they are gay, lesbian, etc. Gay is a homosexual male, and lesbian is a homosexual female. There is a LGBT community, which stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. This community welcomes people who are categorized under one of these, and it's pretty much a support group. Decades ago, it was wrong to like the same sex. It was illegal in most states. A couple of years ago, President Obama made it legal for all citizens of America to marry with whomever they chose, no matter what the gender was. It has become more accepting and a very open topic in today's society. You see this kind of topic in the media like in movies and the internet. It is now considered normal to see a gay or lesbian couple in public. Compared to the past, it is now a positive thing. Many families have become supportive of their children coming out, which is great and how it should be. It still isn't an easy topic for families, though. Many struggle to accept or support their children. Just like gender identity, families should keep an open mind and be involved with the child. Be curious, normalize the situation, and stay involved. Being involved with their child helps them understand what they are going through. Middle childhood is already a confusing stage. Sexual orientation just makes it more complicated. Going to the mall or maybe going to the grocery store, you will find two of the same sex holding hands together, kissing and showing any other kind of affection. This goes on in public, and children often see this. This may cause curiosity and confusion depending on their family dynamics. If the family is accepting of this, explain to children in simple words or words that will help them understand will work. Children today should know what gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender means, because it is sensitive yet a known topic. It is seen everywhere, especially on media. Again, it is considered normal, so children should be educated about society. Families should speak to them about how two of the same sex raise children. Families should educate their children on respecting others no matter what or who they are. They should be taught to not be discriminating towards others. Children should be taught that everyone is human and everyone is different but equal. These are the kind of positive conversations to have with middle childhood children, because then they will grow up with positive beliefs. There are families that don't feel comfortable talking to their children about this because of their age or beliefs, and that's okay. If a child has a question about it, the parent should respond with a positive answer, even if the question does not get answered. There's a time and place for this conversation. A time to have this conversation is when the child has a better development of understanding. As you can see, in the past, people did not talk about what factors came with sexuality. Sexuality was known as sex only. Nobody talked about the education behind sex, the health behind sex, gender identity, or sexual orientation. It was an uncomfortable and basic topic. People were told not to have sex, not to get pregnant, not to be gay, or not to act like a girl. Over the years, sexuality became involved because people started talking about it and helped others talk about it too. Sexuality has never been easy for families to speak about it with their children, and it never will be, but it should be recommended to families to begin these kind of conversations during middle childhood. This builds communication and trust with their child. These kind of talks can guide their child in a positive direction. These are ways families can use to speak about sexuality. It is not going to harm them or brainwash them. It will only educate them. I am Blanca Quesada, and thank you for your time. Goodbye.